but I don't believe all women, and neither should you. And you certainly shouldn't believe all news reports, especially when it comes to climate change, because I want to let you know that not only is it Shark Week, but it's also Heat Hell Week. It's time for Heat-mageddon, if you listen to the mainstream media, because every time summer rolls around, you can expect another host of articles to assault your better senses, telling you that the reason that it is hot again this summer is simply because of climate change. So now here is a USA Today article letting us know about the casualties happening in Arizona right now because of this U.S. heat wave. And it says this: as a U.S. heat wave spreads, Arizona counts the dead. 18 confirmed, dozens more suspected. Now, let me help you play a little game called Common Sense. There are 18 confirmed dead, and then they say dozens more are suspected. Quick question. How do you expect that people are dead? And not just a couple of people like, hey, they're in their house, but we can't get into the house because it's barricaded or something like that. But now dozens more are suspected dead. So this headline obviously reeks of complete lying. And point one about this is, if we are truly going to worry about heat, and certainly it is, if you don't have air conditioning, this could be a really not only difficult, but deadly time for people, especially if you're elderly. But let's put aside for the moment that cold is way more devastating for people than heat is. And let's just say, this is a very difficult time for people, especially if they don't have the kind of energy security that they need. So what we need is energy security. We need policies that try to help our energy to be something that is sourced locally, sourced from home, rather than sourced from Russia, rather than sourced from Iran or any other foreign country. We need to develop as much energy as we can here, which means drilling here and not somewhere else around the world. But that also means this, that we cannot rely on so-called green energies, which are incredibly historically unreliable. Sure, I'm all for exploring green energies, especially if they can help us, as long as we don't have the misimpression that these energies are actually green. Just because you don't see exhaust come from the tailpipe of your electric car doesn't mean that there is not exhaust and carbon emissions on the other side of those machines that are digging for your lithium-ion batteries. So the point is that we need energy security in our nation if we're truly going to be concerned about this heat wave. But the second point here is this, is we need to quit pretending that we can control the climate. I've discussed this on the show before, how climate control and climate hysteria, more importantly, is an issue of the radical left, especially the agnostic/atheist radical left, who constantly wants to kill God in their conscience, and then when they need some sense of sovereignty, some sense of control, some sense that somebody is holding the strings of this world together, and because they've killed God in their own mind and conscience, they don't have that person, they think it's all up to them. Newsflash, guys, you cannot control the climate. Now, why is it that we are so obsessed with something that we cannot control? We hear this every single year from the news media, how everything that's happening is somehow related to the climate. When your mother yells at you, or when your wife gives you a dirty look, somehow it is because of climate change. Really, the issue is a obsession with climate control, because we need to have control that we used to try to outsource to God. But since many people have, especially on the left, have gotten rid of that source of security in their own personal life, they feel like they have to control everything, and by the way, including their biological sex, but that's a different show for a different day. Now there's a reason for this, by the way, is not only because our government is incompetent, but because they are also incredibly evil. They want you to focus on the things you cannot control, because when you're focused on the things that you cannot control, it makes you less likely to focus on the things that they can control and are not. For instance, things like immigration. See, we cannot control the climate as much as we want to pretend that we can, but one thing we can control is immigration. But the Democrats seem wholly uninterested in actually paying attention to what is going on at our southern border. And if we're going to quote the devastating and truly sad fact that 18 people are confirmed dead because of a U.S. heat wave, then maybe we should hear from the news media, which we never hear, how many people have died as a result of illegal immigration. So you won't get that from the mainstream, but you will get it here. So according to CBP, Custom and Border Patrol, just in 2023 alone, you have assault and batteries and domestic violence to the tune of 825. You have burglary and robbery, larceny, theft, and fraud perpetrated by illegal immigrants, 560. Driving under the influence, you have 1,475. Homicide and manslaughter, you have 19 people that have been killed by illegal immigrants. Illegal drug possession and trafficking, you have 1,409. And of course, you have illegal entry and re-entry. So these are people who perhaps were thrown back into the country and come back in illegally. We have 5,332. And then, of course, the left is really concerned about illegal weapons and weapons that people should not have. And of course, 213 people just in 2023 alone have been charged with possession of illegal firearms. And again, all of these people are illegal immigrants. And let me state it one last time for those of you who weren't listening the first time. The reason that our political elitist, our political class, wants you to focus on the things you cannot control is so that your mind will go off of the things that actually can be controlled. And then there's one final point here. And this is an unfortunate reality that I think all of us are going to have to get used to. After all, it is 2023. And we need to finally come to terms with this reality. We've progressed far enough in the progressive movement that we can finally understand this basic fact, that there is something that continues to perpetuate climate change. It's time we started being honest about this on the right. There is something that continues to bog us down summer after summer after summer that's creating this death, that's creating this climate change, and we need to address it here. And so here's a moment of rare honesty, agreeing with the left that the climate is changing, and it does so every single summer because, breaking news, the sun exists. That's right, the sun, that big flaming ball of fire in the sky. Whenever we get a little bit closer to it, it seems that things get hotter here on this earth. And yes, the sun is consistently and always has been changing the climate. So, for those of you climate deniers out there, I hope you understand there is an enemy, and it's far above in the sky. And no, you atheist, it's not the fairy god. It's not our fairy tale god of the Bible. That culprit looming largely over our head, making it hot every single summer, is the sun. So, breaking news. It gets hot during summer. So you just got done watching a small excerpt of a much larger episode. You can find the link to that full episode down below in the description of this video. So you definitely want to check that out, because if you like that clip, you'll like the much larger episode. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click that little bell to be notified when great new episodes of Indie Thinker come your way. Thanks for watching.